Now, I want to make sure that people watching who aren't directly involved with schools or schools in the circumstances you're in still get a sense of the culture that you haven't talked about yet. You've spoken about many amazing things and quite radical ideas, really. But for organizations in general, for businesses in general, you have a culture at Liger that's unique. How you treat everybody, whether adults or young people. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think it goes back partly to really our core values and some of those things that we say that we're about having having integrity, having optimism, having stewardship, is really then putting those things into practice. Also, there's really an expectation that we discuss about caring for each other. So if you're working on things, if a person, anybody, is working on something that is beyond yourself, you're doing something that matters to the world, to whoever it is outside of you, and you're working together with people on such a thing, I think any of us really who have done anything like that, you bond and you build a culture of caring, and you form a bond that's kind of special, as opposed to if you think about just working, let's say, in a school or an office, and you're just working on your own thing and you're turning in your assignment or you're completing your project that your boss wanted you to do. Mm. That is very different than working together as teams to change something, to do something that you all care a bit about, or that somebody
that
cares
emotional investment is the culture.
Yeah, that emotional investment brings people together. So you work intensely on something that matters. Just that alone really changes the culture. And if the culture overall is a caring culture, and one that just thinks about how could we change the world, that just because you're practicing that all along and you're just working to change the world, that's who you become. And that's
what I love about listening to you, Jeff, is you make it sound so easy, because I imagine it is that easy. You kept it really simple. No, there's going to be people watching. When you said the word "let them loose," students, staff members, employees, that's going to freak them out, if they're managers or leaders in any sense. Autonomy is a big part of us, what we do at the Power of Us. Now, we believe that autonomy is really important for that engagement, that sort of buy-in. You've given beautiful examples of that. What are the checks and balances that you have that might reassure those people listening or watching that are freaked out a little bit by the let them loose kind of culture?
I think that's a really, really great question, because that is a somewhat of a challenge, mostly because people, in our environment, school environment, are not used to that at all. Most of us grew up with a teaching role that you're in charge and you're doing this, but when someone says, no, you're going to be working on this thing with a group of students, or you're going to take on working, it might not even be something you know about. So first of all, helping them just get over the fear of doing something that they don't know anything about content-wise. So giving them an opportunity. So we give people an opportunity, sometimes just to throw them in off the deep end and say, let's try it, but with very caring, small steps. And we also really try to do a lot of training, but I would say a lot of people that are doing project-based schools or things like we're doing, it's a learn on the job, because you didn't learn it at your university training and so on. So you've got to let people experiment. And also, I think most importantly is let people fail. A lot of things don't really work. And as we know, like real life, of course, like our school is trying to reflect what real life is like. And real life, many things don't work out exactly the way you planned. In other words, really letting go, in our case as teachers, to be a facilitator, you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't have a perfect answer that is going to be coming at the end, so they can collaborate like nothing else. Well, like we measure those things as success, and we don't measure some of the other things. And I think for a lot of teachers and a lot of schools, it's like, if you can sort of rethink what a successful student looks like, then it takes a huge burden off of the teachers.
Yeah.
and the school administrators and the school boards and everybody else.
Fantastic. Jeff Holte from Liger Academy in Cambodia and New Zealand, thank you so much for spending time with The Power of Us.
Thank you very much.